Stu here. This video we're going to take the power head off the Yamaha 54 stroke. A couple of previous videos, the leak down test and the compression test, it wasn't looking healthy. So now I'm just going to take the head off and we'll see what we see. No point talking too much about it, let's just get on and have a look what's inside. So today I'm going to start working on taking the head off the power head of this outboard. Got a fair few things to take off before we can get to there. Thinking I'm going to start just with the whole sort of carburetor airbox assembly. We'll try and get that off as intact as much as possible so we can just lay it off to one side. Start here, there's just a just got the throttle linkage here. Just take that one apart. I will leave it on for now. I'm going to try and keep as much of this together as possible and I'll bag it up in a moment. Now, bolts here along the flange hold the whole cover assembly on. We've also got a couple of bolts here. This one's actually got one missing, so I'll replace that and reassemble it. Also got the breather tube or the blow-by tube from the power head, so we'll disconnect that from the power head side and then start disconnecting the bolts on the inlet manifold. So they're looking to be about a 10mm radius. I'll just go grab a spanner. So I've got a little 10mm gear spanner and a 10mm on the extension. Some of them are a little bit tricky to get to, so we might take a few other parts off first. So now just taking the little hose clamp off for the blow-by tube that goes back and re-injects the gases back into the airbox. Now when we get the actual, well, even the valve cover off and the head bolts out, there's quite a specific order they get you to release them in. Not so much with this inlet manifold, but I am just going to work around a little bit just to let the sort of pressure come off this a bit more evenly. Could take the fuel filter off to get to spun on the wrong way, to get to this one a little bit more easily, but it's not too bad with a spanner. So I will take, obviously got to take the fuel pump off, the fuel filter off as well. I might actually do both those now. This looks maybe a 12, 10 on the pump, 12 on the fuel filter I think, so I'll just grab one of those. So as you can see, this fuel filter's already had the inlet hose removed when we took the power head out. pump, which is just driven off the camshaft, unlike a two-stroke where it's the vacuum and pressure inside the crankcase that drives the fuel pump. Alright, where did we get to? So what else are we going to have connected? We're going to have fuel lines. They're actually going to be going through, so I'm going to have to disconnect one of these outs. One goes under, which is fine. This one goes over, so we're going to disconnect this. So we can feed that through. And might actually disconnect this blow-by hose. I'll do it at this end. Okay. So we've got two sets of wires here, which I'm going to disconnect. Oh, one's just disconnected itself. So this one is from the remote activation of the choke, the solenoid for the choke activation. The other, as I said, I believe it's a sensor for it, but I will actually double check that and confirm for you. So just a shared ground here. One's blue, and one's green and white, so this should be easy to reconnect the right way around. It's always nice. Okay, got it. So two sets of leads for the choke, and that's kind of the whole unit removed. A little bit of fuel from those bowls. So we'll deal with this as a unit later on, and that's when we'll clarify what all the bits are and do. But for now I'm just going to set this aside because that's not really what we're doing today. These dowels do come out, but they feel pretty solid, so I'm not worried about losing them. Alright, so I'll set this aside and we'll keep going. Okay, so next thing we've got to take off is the flywheel again. This is probably quite loose because we only put this on quickly to do the leak down test. If you're looking at taking this off when it's a bit more stuck, just have a look at the video on removing the power head. When we took this off the leg is when this got taken off for the first time. I'll just grab a little hammer. There's normally a puller tool for taking these off. It's a tapered fitting, it can get quite stuck. But this is only just been resting unlightly, so it shouldn't be much of a trouble to get it back off. And then the little Woodruff key, don't want to lose that, very important. So, because we're taking the head off the motor, we need to disconnect the timing belt. So first step to doing that is to take the stator off here. Inside there's it's a 42mm nut for getting this off. The The instructions say to use a 42mm socket. I can kind of see why, because it's not a very deep nut, so it could be easy to strip, so we'll have to be careful there. But for now, we've just got what looks like 3 8mm nuts here. Yep. Might just pop a little bit of penetrating oil. These nuts are actually quite stiff, and I don't want to break any of them. So I'm actually going to let that sit for a second and soak. I don't want to go breaking any of those little 8mm bolts off. Alright, so I've had these soaking for a little while now. Hopefully they'll be a little bit easier to remove. Hungry. Sorry, the chickens are attacking. So these bolts are a slightly different size to the others we've been working with, so I'll put these aside. So in order to lift the study coil off, we have to undo the electrical connections to it, and there's just 3 Phillips head bolts, screws, sorry, just holding this cover over what's really just a junction box. Together. So these little connectors just have a barb here, and if you push down on the back section you'll lift that barb and they come together pretty easily, come apart very easily, sorry. So just press down, lift, and then the finer ones here is this round connector, and then I'm just going to lift that apart. So now we can move the stator coil. So we've got the coil and the 3 bolts that came with it, and the cover just from the junction area, so I'll put those aside. So next thing I'm going to do is take this coil mount off. This way we can get to the driving sprocket for the timing belt. So I've just popped this the flywheel nut back onto the crankshaft quickly, because before we disassemble the head we need to get to the point where we're on top dead centre on cylinder 1, and to do that we just have to line up the cylinder 1 mark here on the driven sprocket to the timing mark here on the cylinder head. So it's this, and once it's there, we just need to leave it in that position. So we've got to be careful that we don't, in our messing around with these nuts, actually rotate this. We're going to leave that top dead centre on cylinder 1. So this tensioner looks like it's got a couple of different bolts. This one's a 10mm. And the other one looks more like a 12. Yep. I'll just try with this larger Give it a second. And there we go. It's a bit easier. So I'll leave the bolts in the head, but I'll put the tensioner and spring that goes with it somewhere separate. So I like to either put these back where they came from, or even just bag it all up together in a Ziploc bag so it's obvious what bolts go with what. It's a little bit time up front, but it certainly saves you a lot of headache down the track. Alright, so belt's off, head's still at top dead centre here. So now I'm going to get the nut off this driven wheel. Now I don't want to rotate the camshaft while I'm doing that, and I actually don't have the tool for holding this driven wheel in place. So I think we're going to have to revert to either our our coat hanger wire, but I might even just get like a pry bar and put it in the teeth of this sprocket. I'm also going to use a impact wrench to get this off. Because it's a faster impact motion, it's less likely to rotate the driven sprocket. My impact sockets are down there, so don't yell at me. I'm actually going to use a non-impact socket, but I will put some safety glasses on just in case it fails. So I'll grab the pry, and I'll try and lock this off as best I can, and then we'll try to get this off with the impact socket. Wish me luck. There we go, wasn't too bad. Things don't play nicely so often, it always amazes me when they actually do go right. It's turning me into a pessimist, isn't it? Okay, so driven sprocket off, a little locating dowel for that. I'm just going to bag these up together, given I can't easily store them in place this time. Okay, so once again, this dowel pin's a good indicator of the position we're in. So the position it needs to be is opposite this mark. So this is a showing that it's stayed in top dead centre. It hasn't moved when we took that fastener out. Next thing we're going to do now is take the valve cover off. So I'll just rotate around for you. So we're going to take the valve cover off here, take this oil filler, pop that somewhere too. So we need to take these fasteners off in a specified order, and we're essentially going round and working our way into the inside. So I'm going to start down here, 1, and 2, here, come across, and down to here. This one, and then up to this one. So that's the order the manual specifies. Quite often, although they specify it specifically in the manual, quite often you're looking for this sort of spiral pattern coming into the middle. just to take the load off the cover evenly, rather than having full tension on one half and no tension on the other half and potentially warping it. Just make sure I haven't missed any. Just a very gentle tap on this. Might grab my eye as well. There's the train cover off. Seal for this. Looks like it's seen better days, but we'll obviously be replacing this. Not too bad, I guess. So the next thing I do is take this rocker assembly off. These are all 12mm fasteners on here. Once again, I'm just going to work around with these and not just start at one end and move to the other. I will also keep them in order so we know which one comes from where. Even if parts are identical in their machining, it's always best to put parts back where they came from in a used motor, as they will have worn to match their mating surface. One rocker arm assembly. Bit sticky, but we might clean that up later. So I'll just pop this to one side. Right, so now we've got the oil pump on the bottom, which is driven straight off the camshaft. So I'm going to take that oil pump off. What I will do first though is just take these linkages off so that they don't get broken when we're rolling this outboard around. So here's another 14. Over here looks like a 10. So I'll keep these together. I'm going to bag them up separately too. Give this now a fair bit of freedom just to lay this on this side and get the oil pump off. This linkage in the Ziploc bag. So, oil pump. Here we've got, it's like 3 10mm. There's our oil pump out. Certainly be taking the back off this and having a look and seeing what condition this is in as well. So next thing we're going to do is pull the camshaft out. We've just got a single sort of retaining pin here, which is a 10mm. Just goes through, locks it on. As you can see there. And once we've got this pin out, just slide the camshaft out. So we'll do a bit of an inspection on this later on, but for now I think we'll just push on and get this head off. So we start with these 10mm bolts on the top. We're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so to pull these out, and then we'll go around the 12mm, possibly in 14s I think, in the middle. So next thing I'm going to do is take these 12mm bolts out from the inside. You might notice it's a little bit darker now. I actually forgot I had to do a service on a Honda outboard, so I just ran down and did that. Wish I'd taken the camera actually, because the gearbox seals had gone and it had terribly emulsified all in the gearbox. It would have been good to sort of show you as an example of what a bad gearbox looks like. I've actually brought the gearbox up here, so I might put that air tool we used before on the Yamaha gearbox just to have a look and see where it's leaking from. But finish this for now. The good thing about having done that actually is that all the tools I took down for that job are now here, so I'm going to go and actually use this impact wrench just to loosen all these. So the pattern we're doing for this is just around the corners and then slowly sort of working into the center. So you sort of undo in a spiral working inwards and you tighten in a spiral going outwards. So a couple of these I already loosened, as you probably notice. That one I didn't. Alright, so now I'm just going to remove these completely in that same order. Alright, so what have I got here? 3, 6, 9, 10 head bolts out now. So I'll just grab the little plastic hammer and we'll just tap this head off. Without losing the power head in the process. So this is the state it's in. There's a lot of sort of worrying signs. Like this here looks like a bit of rust, so I wonder how much moisture's got up in here. And this exhaust valve's a bit of an odd colour, so I'm starting to think maybe there's a ring issue in this one. So I'll definitely be checking the rings as well. We'll do that in a separate video. So my plan at this stage anyway is to clean up the surface here, just get a straight edge, do a lot of measurements, see if there's any warping of this head. If so, we might send it off to be machined, or possibly try sanding it. I don't know, depends how patient I'm feeling. But I'll also get all these valves out, have a look at the valve seats. I think just now it's really a case of cleaning everything up so you can see what condition it's really in. This is the cylinder that had the low compression, so I might put some light under here. There's a bit of a gap here. I'm not sure whether that's just where gunk hasn't formed or whether there is actually a leak around those valves. So I think we'll finish up here. We've got it off. That's the procedure for getting the head off anyway. I'll just start cleaning this up and see if we can see a bit more when it's cleaned. I'll take the valves out. I guess I'll do a bit of a video. I won't sort of just do that. I guess it's worth showing them coming out and being cleaned up. There's a few videos around already on techniques for cleaning valves up, but it's exactly what we'll be doing here. So stay tuned and we'll see if we can bring this back to life. So thanks for watching. Obviously more work to do. The sort of, you know, the deeper you dig, the more you find, as always. So next video, I guess we'll be looking at cleaning this head up and starting to just measure it, see what whether it's warped in any dimension at all, and see how much machining it may or may not need, see what the valve seats are like. So that's the next step. I guess just one step at a time. That's the way it goes. Might seem like a big job when you start, and sometimes I think if you knew it was involved before you start, you wouldn't start. But so in some ways it's good. You kind of discover these things as you go, and just don't look too far ahead. Just, you know, it's good to have a plan, but at the same time it's good just to keep focused on the next step. And the next step for this is clean this head up and just continue to assess what condition it's in. So thanks for watching. Take care. Feel free to subscribe. I'd love you to join in on the marine adventure. I'll catch you next time. Thanks. Bye.